Hi, everybody. Thomas Miller from the Fun Astrology Podcast. Be sure to check our audio podcast out every day, Monday through Saturday of this week. But we are going to have, I am so glad to say, a much lighter week of energy in the sky. So let's jump right into it. This is how we basically begin the week with sunrise here on Monday. And Mercury is our oracle planet. That means it's the planet that's above the horizon. See, this is the sunrise point. That's the ascendant point. Mercury is the first planet, or the one that comes up above the horizon right before the sun. Some of you have asked, actually, how you do this with your own chart. Let me just show you real quick, since I was thinking about that. Let's tune this back. I'm just going to come back minutes here. Really, we probably don't have to there. So see, there's the sun below sunrise. And then that moment right there would be sunrise. And you can tell, let me get this stuff off of here, that Mercury was in the sky right before sunrise. And you have this too. You have to have software that will move the dial during the day, but just put the sun right before sunrise on the day that you were born, and then just look up from there. And whatever the next planet up from your sun is the oracle planet in your own life. And that planet will have expressions unfold in your life. The idea of oracle is, hey world, you are coming, right? Hey world, Thomas is coming for my birthday. In this case, hey world, we're about to start Monday, wake up. It's like, that's the idea. So when we wake up on Monday, we have a wonderful Gemini moon. This is a lot of get it done kind of energy in the moon with Luna. And even though Gemini is a divided sign, we can use that to our favor because we can work on multiple projects at once. So that's how we begin the day. And then on Tuesday's audio podcast, we talk about this beautiful kite formation that's in the sky. The exact aspect on Tuesday is this trine right here from Venus to Uranus. So we're on that line right there. But if you let your eyes wander inside this chart, you see a diamond-shaped kite pattern right there. And then this is the crossbeam. This is one of those diamond kites, not a box kite. This is like what Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins, it's like that kind of kite. Let's go fly a kite. Here's your kite string. You're looking at it back that way. All right. Don't get carried away here, Thomas. We're trying to do an aspect. So what are the planets involved? Well, the exact aspect early Tuesday morning is this trine to Uranus, but we really can't just look at that out of context because we also have at the very top of this kite Neptune, and then over here on this side we have Pluto. So this is just amazing positive energy. Let me throw this other kind of quarter kite, if you will. See this aspect right here? That is between Jupiter and Mercury, and the moon moves into this by Wednesday. And then over here, let's say Mercury, Jupiter, what did I just say? That's Mars, that's Jupiter, that's the moon. We know these things. And then Mercury on this side and Chiron on that side. So we have two very positive signatures that are going to make this week a lot lighter, quite honestly. And then on Wednesday, and I have that chart set up too, that Mercury goes direct from its retrograde path. So it's in its last little bit of retrograde here. We'll get it back direct Wednesday morning. So part of the wonderful construction of this kite are these three outer theme builder planets that, Pluto, 250 years, the slowest orbiting planet. Neptune, 164 years to go around the sun, second slowest. Uranus takes 84 years to go around the sun. So, see, and then we have Saturn, of course, is moving in toward Neptune, but for the purpose of our kite, really we're just talking about these three here that are, let's just back this up and we'll just focus on these three. Because this is the energy that we are shifting into. And we're getting this little picture of it in the sky this week. So what are we shifting into? Well, even though Pluto is going to move back into Capricorn on Sunday, it's going to dip its toe back into 29 degrees Capricorn, almost this symbolic, if there's anything left that didn't get cleaned up when Pluto came through Capricorn, here's one last chance. So there may be some kinds of macro structural changes, but in our own lives, we can use this time to go introspective, go inside, and take a look at anything and everything that we could get rid of in order to run the race as light as possible. It's like the runners, that they want everything as light as possible so they're not burdened by even the few clothes that they have to wear. They want just as skimpy as possible. It's that kind of an idea that we are getting ready to ascend to some higher ground, and we want to take as few knapsacks over our shoulder or dead weights, ball and chain weights around our ankle as possible. So this will be a time for us to do the work. We have to do this. Nobody can impose it upon us. We have to do it by choice. But here is the opportunity, so supported by the sky, as you can see in this chart right here. Neptune, pure spirituality. That is the connection to our intuition. It's the connection to our source. It's our connection with God. I mean, people are becoming more spiritual now. Not religious, spiritual. Big difference. And that's reflected by Neptune. At the top of this kite, it's the peak planet. All the rest of them are supporting this Neptunian energy. See, Pluto we have to change in order to get pure enough to be able to stand in the Holy of Holies, to stand in this holier ground. That's Neptune. It's pulling us up. And then, of course, Uranus, the surprises. But also Uranus rules astrology. And this even says, if you haven't figured it out already, astrology is coming in a big, big way. But it's also our hidden genius. It's hopes, goals, ambitions, dreams, things reflected by the 11th house, which Uranus also rules. Hopes, dreams, and ambitions. Things we want to become in a positive sense. These are not the squares and oppositions of last week. These are trines and sextiles. These are supporting positive energy, moving us in these directions. And then Venus, we're looking down here at the bottom of our kite, is kind of a trigger planet. It's not as much as the moon, I would say, probably not as much as Mercury, not as grumpy as Mars, but in a positive way, with Venus representing love and harmony and balance. In other words, high-level energy characteristics. These are things that we can incorporate into this structural shift that's taking place that we're going to be moving into. And this is just a little wink. We're not there yet. We've got to go back and do a little cleanup business over here. It's going to be a little while before Uranus moves into Gemini. These two will move into Aries in 2026. That's going to be a big change. This kind of energy is not going to happen this week, but we are certainly moving in that direction. And the call to us is get ready. Do what you have to do to get ready. Now let's take a look at the big one of the middle of the week, and that is when Mercury turns direct. Can I hear an amen and a hallelujah? Woohoo! Because yes, we finally get Mercury out of the trickster mode. At least it will be moving forward. As of this minute right here, this is 2:15 basically in the afternoon in California time, so adjust that to wherever you are. It might not be right exactly that minute and second, but if you're counting, and who is, it will be Wednesday at about that time. Also, just note here, you can see this great, big, nice, wonderful trine between Mercury and Chiron. Mercury, once it gets going forward again, will hunt Chiron down, which is moving backwards, so they will have an aspect, I believe it's next week, that exact trine. But yes, we are definitely in that, and that is just adding to everything we just talked about, this introspective, internal work around the wounds, the things that are holding us back. There's a lightness in the chart to support us. This is a trine. It's a favorable, the most positive aspect. It's saying, lift the burden, let go of the load. We don't have to carry the heaviness anymore. That's the energy that's supporting us. All right, so that was Wednesday. The other thing of note that I like that happens on Wednesday too is, let's see here, the moon. The moon has already done it, but the moon moves into Cancer on Wednesday. And that's the moon going home. The moon loves to be in Cancer. Your intuition Wednesday and Thursday and Friday will be heightened because of this. So we have the moon happy there. Then on Thursday, we have another happy aspect because Venus goes home to Libra. So we have Venus at home, the moon at home. Oh, that's going to be just wonderful energy. That aspect when Venus enters Libra is about 9:22 Thursday morning. The moon moves into Cancer at 4:47 a.m. Now, these are Eastern times, which is how I do the podcast when I'm looking on the chart here, but you get the idea. These aren't exact, but early Wednesday morning and fairly early Thursday morning. By then, these two will be at home. And that's the key point, is they are going to be so much happier. And with the moon, our emotions are going to feel happier. We're going to feel more emotionally relaxed, emotionally secure with the moon at home in Cancer. So the nurturing factor of this, and then just the harmony and beauty and balance of Venus. Picture yourself in just a very beautiful place. Whatever beautiful is for you, whether it's indoors or outdoors. Maybe it's a beautifully decorated room. Perhaps it's in a skyscraper overlooking a beautiful city. Or it's outdoors. Maybe you're by a North Carolina waterfall or on a mountain vista or at the beach. Whatever beauty is for you, or a wheat field. I mean, for some, that's not only beauty, but it's also the other side of Venus. It might be their income. Their money comes from the crops that come from the vast plains where our food is raised. So any of the above, whatever that looks like for you, you can think of that midweek. Now, here's the next big one. We fast forward up to Sunday, and that's when Uranus turns retrograde. There it is, right there at about, now this will be a late morning, basically, on the East Coast, early morning here on the West Coast. And this aspect, now this retrograde will go all the way until January 30th of next year. So this is a long one. And remember that Uranus is basically the higher octave of Mercury. So, yep, kind of tricks and surprises and unexpected things related to all those characteristics. But the other thing being in Taurus, that this is, and one of the things I pointed out on the podcast, the audio podcast, is that with Taurus, we're talking about our security from not maybe perhaps the standpoint of, say, Cancer security, of home, that nurturing that we were just talking about with the moon. But here it's more of just that firm, solid foundation. Now, Taurians love their home. They love home base. But it's just that security that we have in being grounded and solid. That could be a little shaken during this retrograde in our own lives. So things around that would be easily let go. In other words, don't attach to your security. Be willing to be flexible. What might happen? Hey, I'm willing to let it go. If it's for my highest good, I'm willing to let it go. And anything transformation related, we still have most of this kite intact. So we still have the 3 planets that we talked about are all right there and part of this. Now it's just Uranus is going to bring it all inside. So everything we just talked about related to the outside comes inside. That happens on Sunday. Then the other big thing that happens on Sunday is Pluto goes back into Capricorn. And this happens in the late evening. It will be late evening in the East Coast, around dinner time on the West Coast, 29:59, and that is through October 10th before it turns direct, moves itself back out, and then Pluto enters Aquarius, and it will be in there until 2045. So a long time that we're going to be experiencing these radical transformations. Between now and the middle part of October, when it's here in Capricorn, well, it will take it another little while. So basically November is, I forget the exact date, but it's early November when Pluto moves back into Aquarius for the last time. So between now and then, we're cleaning up some old stuff here in the last degree of Capricorn. It never gets past 29. So I hope you can see we have a lot lighter week ahead. It's going to be better energy than last week, but it is focusing on this internal work. So as long as we step up to the plate and we lean into these changes, the changes will lean into us in very positive ways. I'll see you on the audio podcast every day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.